For the first time in what feels like a very long time, maybe the first time in this NBA postseason, only one game to break down for you on this Thursday. It's a monumental matchup in Minneapolis, do not get me wrong, but only one game. Tips at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight in the Twin Cities. It is game number 6 between Denver and Minnesota. The Nuggets 1 win away from their second consecutive appearance in the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota needs a win or their season comes to a close tonight. The odds makers have the Timberwolves booked as a slight 2.5-point home favorite. Total is at 205. Donnie Right Side, look into your crystal ball. As one of the foremost premier NBA handicappers on this network, tell us what happens. Does Minnesota force a Game 7 back in the Mile High City, or is Denver dancing to the Western Conference Finals?
I'll tell you, it's nice to have a standalone game. And also, for this segment, Ben, do we have enough talent to make it through here? Do we need multiple guests to help us along to talk about this NBA game? I think we'll be okay. I think we will be okay in this one. Here's the tough part about it. I talked this when Coach came on. We saw like a lightning bolt coming into the playoffs here. The Minnesota Timberwolves, and we clowned the Suns, very talented Suns team, in round number 1, and then went on home court here for Denver and beat them up over 2 games. We thought they were moving forward to the Western Conference Finals, and 3 losses later, you're now on the brink of elimination. I need to see how this basketball team is going to come out, and also we're going to give Coach props. First quarter, right? You need to have a big effort on your first quarter at home to keep that crowd involved and say, you know what? Even though we just lost 3 straight to the reigning NBA champions, we can still win this series. But if I'm looking at it from a betting perspective, and how many times have I told you this, Ben? Taking a correlated look, if you like Minnesota tonight, why is Minnesota going in this game? Because Karl Anthony Towns scores 44 points? No, it's Anthony Edwards. You take a look at his points prop tonight, it's 29.5. You tell me right now, Ben, Anthony Edwards scores 24 points, what that final score is going to be. They lose that game, and they're knocked out of the playoffs. If he scores 34 points, there's no guarantee they win. If he scores 44, there's still no guarantee that he wins. But what I need tonight is that usage rate to be high, the cape to be on, which we know he's talented enough to put that team on his shoulders. That's what I expect tonight. So from a side perspective, it's sort of a cop-out. Am I rooting for the Timberwolves to get a Game 7 in here? Absolutely. But I know better than that. Momentum, your 3 straight wins. The Denver Nuggets have figured out what the Minnesota Timberwolves do well and have put a stop to that. But the one thing I don't think they can stop tonight is we're talking about Anthony Edwards shooting 25-plus times from the floor tonight, which should give him a big effort. I really like him over 29.5 points tonight. I do.
So it's been a very interesting story in this series from the total perspective. First 2 games in Denver, total was 209 and a hook. The Nuggets did not score 100 on their own home floor. Total stays under. Last 3 games, the total has been virtually this at 205, and all 3 games over. One, because in Game 3, Denver scored 117. In Game number 5, Denver scored 112. Only in Game 4 have we seen both teams get to the century mark, and it sailed over 205. If you think that is Minnesota's recipe, and you think Anthony Edwards does what he did in Game number 4, score 44, albeit in a loss, this total is going over. Again, you do not have much margin if both teams even flirt with 100 to go, or to stay under, I should say, 205. And I think offensively, the Timberwolves give their best effort. And I think defensively, what Minnesota was so strong at doing in the first 2 games has not fared nearly as well here in the last 3. Nikola Jokic is on a warpath. Nikola Jokic is back to that MVP level that he was not really able to find in the opening 2 games in the Mile High City. I don't know what the defensive adjustment is for Chris Finch and the T-Wolves tonight. If you take Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, off the 3-time NBA MVP. But I don't expect Jokic to stay well under 29.5 either, nor do I for Ant to stay under 29.5. Donnie, I think both teams get to 100 tonight in Game 6. I like the over in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it could be. It really could be. You know me, I usually lean towards the unders late, but we're not talking about an under that's 217.5, Ben. We're talking about 205, which means you would have to have a glacier pace out here to stay under the 205 with not a lot of efficiency, when we know there are a couple guys on both of these teams that can certainly fill it up. But it's just a matter of fact, again, getting back to last night, like, give me that superstar player in the biggest moment. There's no bigger superstar, at least on the court, when you're taking a look at the MVP here for the Denver Nuggets. if he is going to have a good game. And do we expect anything less? Like, honestly, what's more appropriate tonight? 45, 19, and 13. Like, yeah, that makes some sense. Or if he just goes out and has like 15, 14, and 12. Like, no, we expect the biggest performance in the biggest moment here. And this is one where you don't want to let the Timberwolves hang around, because the one thing you do know, it's not like, okay, everybody's won on their home court, it's no big deal, we're going home for game number 7. The Timberwolves have won on the home court there for the Denver Nuggets. You want to put that fire out as soon as you can get. Now, when you're looking at price points here, do we expect triple doubles out of here from Nikola Jokic? We always do. It's a plus 200 tonight, but I think we get a monster effort out of him, hoping to close the door on Minnesota. But I want to see how they come out in the first half. And if we're looking at any ways here, give me the big man, Anthony Edwards, in that first quarter, 7, 8, 9 points, and away you go. I think this game is going to be closely contested. I don't really have a side that I love, as opposed to, I said, rooting on the Timberwolves. I think the over 205 does make some sense. But if I'm just looking from a points perspective, give me the two superstars. Both of those guys will have high usage rates. We should get fireworks between those two.
And I'll just say this from the side perspective. Don't take plus 2.5. If you think the Nuggets are the right side as the underdog, just bet the money line at plus 110. It would be a crazy change to see this series decided by 3 points or less. All 5 games so far, at least an 8-point margin. 4 of the 5 by double digits, and pretty considerably so. Of course, Denver was the first home team in this series to win a game. That happened in game number 5. First home team to cover a number then as well. All 3 games Denver has won. Total over, because the offense has hit at least 100. The 2 victories for Minnesota, total under, holding Denver to under 100. There are those natural correlations as well. We'll continue to dive into the prop market for this game, because I've got my best bet for game number 6 tonight in Minneapolis already locked in. And it features not Nikola Jokic, not Jamal Murray, but Aaron Gordon. Plenty more conversation with the lone NBA playoff game that we have on this Thursday. Denver 1 win away from a second straight Western Conference Finals appearance. Minnesota 1 loss away from its season coming to a close. More next. Only one NBA playoff game on this Thursday night slate, but it's a huge one in Minnesota. The Timberwolves host the Nuggets. The T-Wolves need a win to stave off elimination and force a Game 7. The Nuggets need a win, and they are back in the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota, a 2.5-point favorite. Over-under is 205. The stars on both sides both have the same points prop, 29.5 for both Anthony Edwards and Nikola Jokic. I expect both, as does Donnie, to flirt with those numbers. The Joker to record a triple-double, plus 200. What was so funny, DRS, about Nikola Jokic's otherworldly performance in game number 5, 40 points, 13 dimes, is he fell 3 rebounds shy of a triple-double. Game 5 was the first time you stayed away from that triple-double prop in quite some time. And you wouldn't expect, if it's going to be in double digits, that it's not rebounds for Jokic. His rebounding prop tonight is 12.5. So if he can continue the other 2 categories and pick up a couple more boards, boom, plus 200, that 2-to-1 number to have a triple-double.
Yeah, it is. You want to include that in a parlay piece, that's nice, plus 200. A round-robin piece, you can certainly do that. The one thing that we love about the Joker is what? If you take the triple-double, he never has an off night. What I mean by this is, unless he gets hurt, which apparently he doesn't get hurt either, it's like, does he ever have a 36-3 game? Like, never. Like, it's always like, ooh, at least a mandatory double-double, and he just misses by a rebound or 2 or an assist or 2. That's when you love taking those plus, because it's not a minus 145 bet. You're getting 2 plus 200 plus 300 on a night-to-night basis that you know is a great wager every night, because all you can ask for when you're taking dog prices, Ben, is a chance to hit that. When you say, like, hey, I'm going to take Dante DiVincenzo to hit 6 threes, and he hits none of them, you're like, well, that was a terrible bet at this point. But Jokic always keeps you in the ballgame. That's what we love about it. So every day on a night-to-night basis, you can't go wrong with betting that triple-double for him.
No triple-doubles in this series. Maybe he is due. Also in the 40-point, 13-assist performance in Game 5. 0 turnovers as well. Nikola Jokic continues to show why he is the best basketball player on planet Earth. My best bet for game number 6, my favorite bet for this 6th game tonight in Minnesota, Aaron Gordon, one made three at minus 130. AG's points prop is 14.5, a number he has been over in 3 of the 5 games in this series, 2 straight for Denver. 27 in game 4, 18 in game number 5. He has made at least 2 triples in both of the games in the Twin Cities. I think you're getting a discounted number. And as JY said earlier in the show, we wonder what the defensive adjustments are going to be for Minnesota tonight. They can't just keep letting Rudy Gobert try to guard Nikola Jokic one-on-one. Those are some kickouts for Aaron Gordon behind the line. You only need one 3 at minus 130.